The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Phixated Podcast. I am your not happy host, Mike Azzolina. We're going to get into why exactly here in the next few minutes. And I'm joined by a guy, and I didn't warn him of this, and I don't know if he remembers this, but I am joined by the guy who taught me how to distribute tissue paper in bags for Christmas gifts back in 2008. Regz.
Why was I teaching you how to do that?
Well, I didn't really know how to use, you taught me the grab
The
from the
pinch,
middle,
yep,
do the flick the wrist, and then dump in. And if you're watching on the YouTube channel, you see me pinch, flick, dump.
Yep.
That was and Regz taught me that in 2008. I've used it ever since. I thought about it this week while I was wrapping gifts, watching Lost for the first time, by the way.
Oh, wow.
And
what a show to dive into for the first time in 2024.
Here we are. 2024,
Yep.
wrapping gifts.
Yeah.
Memory back to 2008, learning how to use tissue paper correctly.
Shout out to Mary Regensburg for that technique.
I mean, the technique works.
It does work.
Do you remember teaching me this?
No, I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't remember why I was teaching you that.
So I can tell you exactly where we were.
Perfect.
I don't know why.
Yeah, sure.
No, I know why, but I don't know how it came about in this space at this time.
Right.
We were on your side of the house.
Okay.
Clearly it was around Christmas.
Yeah.
I was obviously wrapping a gift for Andrea.
Or putting something in a bag, which you then need to cover with tissue paper.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we were watching something at your house because I remember specifically being in your living room.
Okay.
And I must have been struggling.
Yeah.
Because you taught me in that moment, and I don't remember who else was in the room. Obviously, probably one of Stein and
Someone,
Banks,
yes.
and one of my roommates. Minimal.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there were always 4 or 5 of us in one place.
Yeah.
And you were like, Azzy, you're doing that all wrong. I remember you specifically saying, Azzy, you're not doing that.
This is so
right.
interesting.
And you showed me the pinch, the wrist
The
flick,
yep.
the dump,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes. And I've never wavered from that.
What a, make my mother proud moment.
Yeah. So tell Mary.
What a wild thing for a bunch of 20-year-old college kids to be discussing. How to pinch, flick, and place tissue paper in a bag.
You know what we were probably doing? We were probably doing a power hour.
I can't imagine we weren't drinking.
No sport was on that we were watching that intensely.
Yeah, right. I mean, something might have been on, but
there might have been a Sunday night football game.
Right. Not something we cared about deeply.
But
obviously.
we were at minimum approaching the end of finals week.
Yeah.
Or the start of finals.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't, and I was not student teaching yet. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah, we were finals of our last year of college.
Yeah. That's really funny.
I wasn't getting Andrea gifts junior year. We weren't even really dating Christmas of junior year. So it was senior year. And we were in your living room. I know that for a fact. I can remember it specifically.
Yeah, that's wild.
Sitting in that living room and and I know you remember teaching me.
I mean, I remember that's the technique that I was taught. I don't
pinch,
remember
flick, dump.
Yeah, I don't have any recollection of that night or the context like you do. But apparently it was It was a defining moment.
Here's one thing I can tell you. Two things I can tell you. Stein didn't teach me.
Yeah.
That's one. And Banks didn't teach me.
Yeah. No,
that's
a Mary Regensburg special.
Yeah. If I'm still using it, it stuck with me.
Yeah.
And it clearly resonates.
I had much more practical advice. You know, I love those guys, but
yeah,
if you needed something,
Banks probably crumple, throw.
Yeah.
Stein was like, "What's tissue paper?
Yeah.
You just put it in the bag."
I don't understand what this is.
So
Why
yeah, that was my thought.
Why aren't you using a plastic shopping bag?
Yeah, why is this not a giant
Yeah,
bag?
yeah.
Wait, giant Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
Kmart.
Yeah.
That's what we use then.
Oh man, that's funny.
It is. So I still use it. Also, we had a fun conversation with Banks this week about the Tiger Woods thing. Did you guys record this week or what? Did you?
We haven't.
Did you talk about this?
We haven't recorded in a while.
Okay.
We got to get back into. We're gonna get back into it once like the season starts up again.
I feel like that's a conversation you guys have to have.
It is. We are gonna have that conversation, but I mean, we can have it here because you threw back a rebuttal, so maybe we can talk about the rebuttal you threw out. Or
yeah. So I saw
the new scenario.
I saw a video that I sent to Regz and Banksy yesterday morning. And the video was, you get two choices. Here are your options. You take $1 million and basically walk away from option 2. Option 2 is you get 72 holes with prime Tiger Woods. If you beat him once, you win.
One hole.
It 10 million or
100 million?
Was it 10 million or 100 million?
I think it was 100. Yeah.
You win one hole,
Yeah.
100 million. If you don't win one hole, prison. And look, I recognize it. Like, there's no way. You could give me 172 holes, 1,072 holes, 72,000 holes. I'm not beating prime Tiger.
Yeah.
I'm not. So I sent it to them. Regz was wavering. Banks was like, I'm taking it.
I mean, Banks, yes, absolutely should take it.
Well, I think at some point in 72 holes, what do you get? 18 par 3s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least.
You're getting Banks is getting. Someone asked me, do I get to name the course? And I was like, sure.
Tiger's what would it matter?
The only issue Tiger's gonna have is, well, I gotta put on shitty greens.
Yeah, right.
Which he'll figure out.
Yeah.
And he'll figure out before you have enough time to par a hole that he can't par.
Yes.
Because he's gonna be on in one and he's gonna get close enough to par.
Yes. So,
and he's probably driving a lot of the par 4s that you think, won't matter. So Banksy, though, to me, watching him golf enough in my life, it could get one hole on Tiger.
Oh my God, yeah, absolutely.
Prime Tiger, I think he could.
Yeah, I think I said the over/under is somewhere between 3 and 5.
Now, here's the thing, Regz. I think I said 3.5. I probably back it down to 2.5, and I'll say that to Banks. And it's not disrespect to Banks; it's just full respect to Tiger.
Well, yeah,
and it's
2001 Tiger Woods is possibly the greatest golfer of all time.
What is it? He parred or better on 170 consecutive holes.
Oh, I don't doubt it's better than that. Yeah,
I think it was par or better on 170 holes.
Yeah,
like, I mean, again, no disrespect to Banks, but Banks isn't doing that.
No, that's why I was wavering, because like I'm not sure if even in 72 holes that there's a chance that he makes a mistake. Like, again, Tiger Woods makes bogeys. Like, he did make bogeys, but he always came back with a bunch of birdies. But that's not the idea, right? You only have to beat him for one hole.
Right.
So like he was prone to a miss every so often.
Right. And like we said, on a par 3, there's a chance that Banks birdies.
Right.
And he pars.
Right.
And Banks can drive a green.
Oh, sure.
So, Banks can drive greens with anybody.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like,
I'm still, I don't know if I'm in between. You guys were gassing me up maybe a little bit too much.
yeah. Well, look, I gave the second option. Here was the second option. It was I knocked it down from 70 just for the fun of it because I didn't want to give Banks the easy out. He never answered, by the way. So call out Banks here. I knocked it down from 72 to 48 holes, still prime Tiger, still $1 million to walk away, 100 million to take one of these. 10 points in an NBA game.
Mm-hmm.
1 ball in play, fair in play against Mason Miller in 10 at bats.
Yeah.
And he has his full repertoire. Doesn't have to just throw you fastballs.
Mm-hmm.
Throw you whatever he wants, whenever he wants. And my last one was 4 downs from the 5. Run it in. Eagles offensive line against Eagles defense.
Yeah.
We still both said that we would take the $1 million, but if we had to choose, we would take
if we had to
Eagles.
rank them in levels of confidence.
We did switch somewhere. I said Eagles. I think my second one was Mason Miller. Third was NBA. Fourth was Tiger.
Yeah, you had Eagles first, then Mason Miller, then a decent gap to NBA, and then a very large gap to Tiger. I enjoyed your text message there. That was very good. Very good use of, very good use of space there.
Yeah, there's a good space. I'm going to have to screenshot that.
Mine went, and I might have to rethink this. Mine went contact against Miller.
48, that blew me away a little bit.
48 holes against Tiger. Well, look, I don't have to, it doesn't have to be you didn't say it's a single. I could bleed one that doesn't make the pitcher's mound. It's a fair ball.
Totally get it, but it's 105 with the slider at 96.
I get it. I understand. I get it. I think 10 at bats is enough. If it had been any less than 10 at bats, I don't think it's enough.
All he's got to do is throw 3 fastballs. You're not touching them for 5 at bats, minimum.
All right. I'm thinking maybe I have a chance to just get a bleeder. I don't know. I might switch score behind O-line to 2 and put Tiger third, and then I'm not scoring 10. I'm not scoring 10 points in an NBA game.
I figure I have a better shot at that, just standing by the 3-point line.
I'm a big boy. I feel like I could bowl my way into a touchdon behind that offensive line.
I feel like I'm Darren Sproles' size.
Yeah.
And I could hide behind Lane Johnson or Jordan Mailata and fall down for 3 yards at a clip.
Yeah. I feel
just
like
because
I've got a chance to maybe
I'd be broken.
Yeah. I feel like I've got a chance to maybe bounce off one person and have a chance to like just fall into the end zone.
Well, like one buddy of mine said, I'm a big guy who is deciding between $100 million and prison.
Yeah.
Try and stop me. Here's the thing about Mason Miller that I someone said to me yesterday, given 10 at bats, I'll time him up at some point. And my argument to that is I faced 94 in high school. And that looked like a P.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. I'm not.
And I got 3 at bats on him, and it looked like a P for 3 at bats.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not saying that's the easiest one by any means. I think that's among the harder ones.
Yeah.
I have more confidence in my ability to get a bat on a ball than I do like my golf game or my shooting ability in the NBA at 6'2", and I
do hear you that all it's got to do is roll.
It just has to be fair.
Yeah.
If it was get a single, I'm out. That's the last one I'm taking.
I just feel like it's so difficult because again, for 5 at bats, all he has to do is throw fastball. And then at bats 6 through 10, he can be like, maybe I'll throw my slider.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'll throw my slider. And at that point, you're jumping out of the way.
You're keyed up. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're jumping out of the way. Because he's starting that right at your hip.
I think I have a better chance of just getting a little piece of it.
I got to be honest with you. I disagree for you. I think your best chance is either the hand you the ball and run behind these big ass dudes.
That one should have been higher.
Or I still believe that like you can luck yourself into one par 3.
Yeah.
Again, you'll have 8 chances at minimum.
48 holes is not that many.
No, and again, like I one thing that I think is important to note is if you miss and he starts beating you and you get through 12, that pressure builds.
Yeah, for sure.
But I also, from that same conversation, every at bat Mason Miller strikes you out, the pressure builds.
See, I'm hoping that I'd be able to maybe see something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Again,
I don't know.
I might be conflating my ability to do this. I get that. I'm fully aware of that. I think if I had to redo it, if we're being as honestly realistic as possible, it probably goes score behind Eagles O-line first, 48 holes against Tiger, contact against Miller. NBA is still at the bottom for me.
Yeah, I still put NBA ahead of Tiger because I have no prayer. I'm
Yeah.
not getting on a par 3.
I'm not scoring in the NBA 10 points. I'm too small. I'm too big. I'm not enough.
I'm super small, but I can just stand there and shoot threes in 40 because I said you get 48 minutes. You're not.
Yeah.
So I can potentially, if I get 25 shots,
couple corner threes. Yep.
Knock down 3 corner threes and a layup
maybe
on
free
a fast
throw,
break.
or something like that.
And there's my 10. I trust myself to do that over having to beat prime Tiger Woods in 48 shot contest.
Yeah,
so,
I think for 10 of for the first 18, I'd just be in awe of watching him.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even be like worried about what I'm doing. I would just be like, holy crap, that's Tiger Woods.
Yeah. And look, in our scenario, that's how many am I giving you? I'm giving you basically 2.5 rounds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
It's a good exercise. It's fun.
It is. It is fun.
Hit us up on Twitter, Facebook. Let us know how you would rank.
What would you do?
Yep.
What would you do?
What would you rank them in terms of confidence?
I'm curious. I need to know what it would be.
Yeah.
I wonder what Max Kepler would do.
You have to give context because people might not check Twitter as religiously as we do.
I'm not happy.
Let's explain. Let's explain what happened first.
I'll explain it. 1 year, $10 million. Max Kepler is a Philly.
Okay.
There's your explanation.
Max Kepler, who has been a twin, right, for a decade.
Yeah. You give the context. I'm too mad.
All right, that's fine. Been a twin for a decade. Has never played left field. Has played the most games in right field. Has played some center field. If we just look at his baseball reference page, it's not fantastic. A career 237 hitter who averages about, let's see here, 77 RBIs, 24 home runs, and a 746 OPS. Yeah. I think to your point, what you kind of tried to say is that his like pitch selection and swing and miss is fairly good. Let me just quickly touch on the things that baffle me. He's left-handed.
Yep.
Which this team does not need.
Nope.
He hasn't played the position that they need the most, left field.
Right.
And he's a career 237 hitter.
Yep.
So, in my mind, outside of that, there's some trade going on that we don't know about yet.
Nope.
This one doesn't make a ton of sense. And the floor is yours, Mr. Ezelina.
This is it, man. This is the move.
It can't be the move.
It's the move.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's the move. Regz, they're at 300. They're at 300 million
I
on
know.
the luxury.
Someone's going. Someone's leaving. Someone's going.
Well, but okay, so let's say Alec goes, right? Let's say, because that's the most likely guy to go. That's $10 million. So you're right back to where you were today. 290. This is the move. This is the guy. They are so scared of that fourth threshold, which again, I'm not getting on them for. I won't. They've spent, but I'm not sure what the plan is.
Yeah.
He has played center field or right field his entire career.
I mean, much more right field than center field. Let's just get that out of the way.
Now, here's one thing that I wanna just name from a, I guess, positive lens, because I'm not positive about this move. I'm very upset about it. Playing left field at Citizens Bank Park isn't hard.
Fair. He's a good defender for what it's worth.
He's a very plus defender.
I think he could figure out how to play left field.
If the plan is he's playing left,
I think he'll be fine.
He'll be totally fine out there.
Yes.
Now, there are a lot of people who are angry, oh, another left-handed hitter. Well, they wouldn't have been angry if it was Juan Soto.
Okay,
so
I think that's a weird argument, like Juan Soto.
Well, I'm not saying it's the same guy. I don't think it's fair to say, well, we can't have a lefty if you're out here touting Juan Soto. Like,
I think it is when you're comparing Juan Soto to Max Kepler.
But okay, all right. Let me rear back. There were people angry about Cody Bellinger last.
Well, that's just stupid people. Like, I don't know what to tell you about that.
So like I'm not going to get on him for the lefty thing.
Okay.
Like that. I think that's my point.
All right.
Like my point isn't Juan Soto.
Yeah.
It's the left-handedness of the lineup.
Yeah.
People are angry about the left-handedness of the lineup. And here's what I'm here to tell you. I don't think that this is going to be the end all of the lineup.
Yeah.
My thought is that a right-handed move is coming to complement this. So get ready for Austin Hayes to be brought back to Philly to be the platoon partner for Max Kepler.
Oh my God.
Now, here are some things I want to say in the positive.
What is our baseball team doing?
Here's the positive I want to get.
All right.
We already talked about great defense.
Yes.
And again, that's going to translate to left field.
Yes.
Left field is the easiest of the outfield positions.
Yes.
Again, think about some of the guys who have played left field over the course of the last few years for the Phillies. Kyle Schwarber, World Series appearance. Yeah. Pat Burrell, World Series champion.
Yeah,
Rolly Ibanez, World Series appearance.
Yeah.
Like,
he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine.
He's more than okay playing left field.
Yes.
So we can shut that down right away. And no, they're not moving Nick Castellanos to left field for him to play right.
No.
That's not what's happening.
No.
You're going to get plus defense from him in left field. He's a center fielder playing left field.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Okay. 25.3% chase rate. That's well above average for Major League. So in that sense, better. Okay. 67% zone swing. Also above average. Another positive from that perspective. 115 mile per hour max exit velocity average. That's a positive. So in those instances, it's a good move. He's not healthy. It's been a minute since he's played enough games to qualify as a healthy player. He's 31.
Yeah.
It's one of two things is happening. One, Brandon Marsh is getting traded.
Mm-hmm.
Two, they're going with the dual platoon in center field and in left field. Whether that's Austin Hayes and Max Kepler, or Randall Grichuk and Max Kepler. Center field will be Johan Rojas and Brandon Marsh.
If he isn't traded.
Well, that's option one. Option two is it's a straight up platoon in center and left.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. No, I acknowledge that. Yes.
If Marshy gets traded, then it's a Kepler Rojas platoon in center field, and the left fielder is somebody that's not on the roster right now. And they just like Kepler more than, but I don't know why you do that, because Marsh has 4 years of control left.
Right.
And Kepler's 31 on a 1-year deal for
years.
So now, okay, let me rewind again. The reason you do that is because you believe that Justin Crawford is going to play center field every day starting next year.
That's what I was just about to talk about. Yep.
Because if Marsh is someone that teams are calling on, and you're saying we don't want Bohm, we want Marsh, then this is fine.
Right.
If there's a plan B for left, and Kepler is your 1-year fix, because he's not going to get 500 at bats.
Yeah.
He's going to get somewhere around 380 to 400 at bats, which he should be healthy for. If he played at Citizens Bank last year he would have had 12 home runs. The year before, he would have had 30. So I'm not happy because right now it doesn't work. Right now it screams we're going to have 2 platoons.
Yeah.
We tried that last year. It did not work.
Yeah.
So if you're telling me that Marsh is getting dealt, which I don't love, my wife loves Brandon Marsh. I literally just got her the t-shirt jersey. I have not told her that this means Brandon Marsh could go. If he does go, she's going to be mad. I'm going to deal with the anger. They're going to get a new left fielder if he. I'm not sure what the plan is, and that's what's bothering.
Yeah. So I think number one is I'm with you. I don't know what the plan is. And so far, it seems like what we can take from what's actually happened is they're trying to get in on buy low guys to try and supplement this team. And the reason that makes me the most upset is that we just wasted $10 million that we could have used on like a truly great bullpen arm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why be mediocre at everything? Like, why sacrifice your bullpen and maybe making that elite when your starting pitching is already there? Why do this instead of making your bullpen elite? Why waste $10 million on this when you can just throw Brandon Marsh back in left and Justin Crawford and Johan Rojas in center field? Like, why waste the $10 million? Why get closer to that for that threshold for this? Go get me Tanner Scott. Go bring back Jeff Hoffman. Make a part of your team elite instead of just being at something else. What's the point? Just play Brandon Marsh every day. Why are you so opposed to this when you gave Johan Rojas the biggest fucking leash I've ever seen for a guy who can hit?
It's lefties. They just won't do it against lefties.
I don't care at this point. I don't care. You're making this part of your team mediocre when you could have used this money to make a part of your team elite, and then you try and do what you can with what you have on offense. Why waste the $10 million? Why? That's like that has only hit me in the past maybe half hour, that sort of revelation. But again, why is this the plan? Go get Tanner Scott. Re-sign Jeff Hoffman. Use the money on guys that are going to make an impact. This guy is not going to make an impact. And look, if he proves me wrong, I'll be the first one to come on this show and be like, hand up, I got it wrong.
Yeah, same.
He turned it around. Same with Romano. He turned it around.
Oh, yeah, I'm not worried about it.
I'm not as worried about him as this. They're very different.
Yeah.
I agree with you. But if we let a Hoffman and a Tanner Scott go because we just signed this nobody for $10 million, then I'm going to be pissed. Why waste the money? Why? This doesn't help you. This doesn't make you better. One of those relievers makes you better. You might have the best pitching staff in baseball if you go out and do something like that. And then you rely on all the money you've spent on offense to get you through it. This doesn't show me that you have any effing idea what you're doing. And you're just grasping at stuff.
So I'm curious. Let's say, all right, let's say the platoon is Marsh and Rojas and Kepler's playing every day in left. They trade Bohm to St. Louis for Helsley and Arenado. So now your lineup.
Does that save you money? Does that keep them under the tax?
Well, it depends on how much
St. Louis is paying of Arenado.
Depends on how much St. Louis pays on Arenado this year. And on Helsley.
Yeah, right.
And on Helsley. And Ranger could go in that deal.
Right.
So, that's a possibility. But let's just say that, like, in some way, shape, or form, those guys go. Maybe Marsh even goes.
Yeah.
Maybe Marsh goes, and the left fielder isn't here yet. Well, let's just start with Marsh, and Marsh stays. And we'll say in some way Bohm is gone, Arenado, Helsley are here. It works out financially. Let's just have that conversation. Sure. So you get another dominant righty in the pen, okay, to shore up the pen. And you get Arenado, who's a shell of himself, but maybe with a chance for an uptick.
Right.
And you have Max Kepler, who's been a 20 home run guy, 270 guy, good approach guy to balance out that lineup a little bit. Your top stays pretty much the same, but Kepler's now hitting 5th and Arenado's hitting 6th. Or maybe they lead off Kepler. Kepler led off a little bit in Minnesota. So maybe Kepler's leading off or Stott's leading off. I don't care. So let's pretend Stott's leading off.
Stott, Turner, okay. Harper, Casty, Schwarber,
Arenado, Kepler, Real Muto, Marsh.
Okay.
How we feel about that?
Yes, I feel better because you got an elite piece of your bullpen. Like, I know Arenado is.
And that's what you're asking.
I know Arenado is who he is. I understand that.
But could turn it around.
He could. Listen,
I think there in Minnesota are two very difficult places to play baseball.
As we've discussed, no bigger Arenado fan than this guy over here. But you know why that I'm okay with it? Because you got an elite bullpen piece. An elite bullpen piece. To make that part of your team in the conversation for the best unit in the game.
I think one other thing to consider is that Nolan Arenado also takes a lot of pressure off of Trey Turner on the left side of the infield.
Yes.
And I don't think that gets considered enough, because as good as Bohm has become, he's
Arenado
still not
is a platinum glover, right? Like,
so like, considering what it could look like, I I don't know how likely that is, and
No,
I'm just
sure.
putting it out there.
No,
as a
yeah, of course. But that
here's where
makes
we're
me
at,
feel
but here's where we could be.
to answer your question, that makes me feel a ton better because of the
Yeah,
bullpen part. Arenado is who he is. The
yeah.
Helsley part is what I'm excited about.
Hmm.
And I think
Yeah,
it just makes it puts your pitching in a stratosphere that not a lot of teams get to.
Yeah.
Again, knowing that relies on the starting pitching staying healthy again. I get it. That relies on Andrew Painter coming up and being good. Like, I get it. It relies on your bullpen pieces being good. I get
Hmm.
it. All those things and not injured,
Hmm.
blah, 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 blah.
Hmm.
But like on paper, that puts your starting pitching and bullpen with any unit in the entire game of baseball.
Yeah. The
And you're
Phillies
paying
are
enough guys who should be good at offense. Like,
yeah. The Phillies are clearly looking at ways to improve this team on the margins. I mean, their World Series odds are still in the National League third,
yeah,
in some places second behind the Dodgers. So, like, Vegas still sees this team as one of the better teams in the league. With the way they were constructed as going into today, Max Kepler's not making that worse. He's not making it worse.
yeah.
It's just not the way it's going to be. Um, the situation now becomes what is next? Is this it? Is this the team they're going into the season with,
Mm-hmm.
or are they still considering Bohm as a trade possibility um as we move forward here? Because they can still improve. This does not change the construction totally. I think we talked about getting two guys who can have a different approach. This is one. He definitely has a different approach. Who's number two? I think I was looking at his strikeouts and I wanted to note this. I don't want splits. This is what I wanted. In 2023, 438 at bats, 106 strikeouts. He has only struck out 100 times, twice in his career. Now, it looks like he mostly plays against right-handed pitching. Early in his career, he had 3 seasons of 500 plus at bats. In those seasons, 110 strikeouts, 95 strikeouts, 100. That's not bad.
Yeah.
So he doesn't strike out a lot. I think that's a good thing. They need guys who don't strike out a lot, clearly.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I'm not happy. I'm not pleased that this is the move that they started with.
Yeah.
I would have been okay if there was a move previous. But right now it feels very much like this is the move.
Yeah. It's again, we will never know what's going on internally, obviously. Maybe someday, but not yet. But it's a tough public perception at the moment, I think is the best way you can put it.
Yeah.
It's a
Good
tough
point.
public perception right now for the Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
And look, maybe at the end of the day, we come back on this show at the end of the offseason, right before spring training, and we're like, man, they sure proved us wrong.
Yeah.
But where we are right now, is what you said. It's what's the plan? What's the plan to make this team better?
Yeah, we don't have it.
We don't have it right now. We don't. And I think that's what everyone's waiting for, quite honestly.
Yeah. And it's going to be, I think it's still going to take a little bit of time. I think one thing though that we need to acknowledge is one way or the other, they they weren't going to sit on their hands. Like, they weren't coming back into the year with Rojas and Marsh.
Yeah, sure.
Not that I'm thrilled, but at least we know that's not the plan. My guess is, again, one of two things is going to happen. They're going into the season with Kepler as the everyday left fielder, and they're going to improve at third, or not improve, but change some things up at third base in the bullpen. Or Marsh is gone, Kepler's going to center, they're going to add in left.
Yeah.
That could be in congruence with a Bohm deal as well.
Mm-hmm.
But this at least tells me my biggest fear, Regz. This is my biggest fear, and then we can move on. We're going into the year with Marsh, Rojas, center field, Bohm sticking at third, Kepler, Hayes, or Kepler, Grichuk in left, and we're just doing the platoon thing all over.
Yeah.
If Austin Hayes is a Philly, I'm gonna
God
cry.
help us. God help us.
I'm gonna cry. I'm not gonna be able to record. I'm going to cry. So
I'm sorry, but if you're crying about Austin Hayes, we have to record.
I'm gonna cry. I'm not sure where I'm at. I'm not pleased.
Yeah.
But if you ask me to give you my, battery level, like from a technology standpoint, at like 48%. I'm not devastated. I'm not livid. I'm not happy.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of floating in that
Right.
area where you're like, shit, I got to plug into a charger here.
We gotta make a decision soon. We gotta make a decision.
Here, yeah, I either got to find a charger or this is all falling shit.
Or we're riding low power mode for the rest of the day.
Problem is, we might be riding low power mode through the new year.
Yeah, awesome.
So
at least
see what happens.
At least our football team's good.
They're really good.
What a transition by your boys, huh?
That was a good one. They are really good. I don't know if you're watching on YouTube, you saw my smile when he said it. They are really, really good. I mean, Regz, let's start here. This is our 37th year of Eagles football. I mean, let's be fair. 32nd year, probably.
Yeah, I might be at
year.
like 27. I don't know if I paid that much attention for a while.
Not that I paid that much attention, but
sure,
like,
yeah.
When I really started paying attention, it was the Jim Johnson years.
Sure.
So, okay, maybe 25th year when you look at it from that lens.
Either way, quarter century.
I don't think I started watching during like the Reggie White defense. And then, I came into it with Bobby Taylor. Like, I was really coming into my own then. And then I was really into it with Lido, like Trot, Dolk, like those guys. Like, that was the time.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best defense I've ever watched. The best defense I've ever watched.
There you go.
And plain and simple, they're the best, most complete defense. Best coached, most talented. Look, there are some Steeler fans out there talking about, well, if we had George Pickens.
So they throw it up to Slay and Quignon like 3 times, and you hope that Pickens comes down with the ball. Like, congrats.
First of all, Quinyon Mitchell's name wasn't called once.
Yeah.
It wasn't called once. Like, Brian Dawkins was on a show this week, and I'm forgetting which one. Forgive me. But they asked him about Quignon. And he was like, the kid's doing things that are just not explainable. They're not. It's
They're not throwing
real
at him.
And he's a rookie.
Yeah. They'd rather throw at Darius Slay than throw at
look,
Quinyon
like,
Mitchell.
We've talked about Darius on this show plenty, and I don't think it's any secret that we've been pretty clear in he's not Darius Slay from 2000,
yeah,
15, 16, 17, right? Like, that's not who he is. But one thing I will say is that when you look at the league in totality, Darius Slay's still a top 20 corner, top 15 maybe. Like, he's still really good.
Yeah.
And they're targeting him far more than the 22-year-old rookie.
Yeah.
23-year-old rookie. Like, I'm so impressed with him. I'm so impressed with Cooper DeJean. I'm so impressed with this defensive line. What they did to the Steelers in the first quarter and a half was almost laughable.
Yeah.
And then they got that bullshit 15-yard personal foul and
changed the whole thing.
That changed everything. And look, again, you're going to get Steeler fans who say, well, we got the personal foul, the double personal foul in the end zone. Well, let me be the one to tell you. I want to be the one to tell you, Steeler fans, that what Washington did is a personal foul. You are not to block a dude through the end zone
through
into
the whistle.
the fence. You're not.
Yeah.
So that's one. So even, you want to say that Slay threw a punch.
Quinyon threw a punch.
Well, Slay threw one too. So you want Quinyon more or less like shoved him out of the way.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Quinyon
as much a
flew
punch.
in.
Right. So you want to say Slay threw a punch, he gets ejected, he gets a personal foul. The other dude comes in, also throws a punch from the Steelers side. So at the end of it, there were still 2 personal fouls on the Steelers.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to be offsetting.
Right.
And it shouldn't have been offsetting.
Yeah.
Because there were 2 clear personal fouls on the Steelers. One during the play, one after the play.
Mm-hmm.
You want to call one on Slay, that's fine. Quinyon coming in and shoving a dude off of him happens every game.
Yeah.
And it's something that the Eagles need because it's what happened last year with the Niners and no one did shit.
Yeah.
And then Washington tried to get all ballsy later in the game, and Nolan Smith shoved his 6 foot, 300-pound ass back into his own running back.
Yeah.
Someone else we need to talk about, Nolan Smith.
Yeah. It's when you talk about the defense, it's wild to me that this all worked. I think that's what I'm most impressed by.
I could tell you why.
Well, no, I understand why, but it's like when you think about 2 rookie corners, a new defensive coordinator, 2 brand new inside linebackers, you lose possibly your best defensive player, Fletcher Cox. You're relying on a second-year guy to become dominant in Jalen Carter. I know he is. Look, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying this is what we were talking about to start the season.
Yeah.
You're asking a rookie corner to play well. You're asking a 30-plus-year-old corner to play well. You bring in an injured safety in CJ, and you're asking Reed Blankenship, who, again, is a probably slightly above average safety, but you're asking him to play very well. 2 brand new inside linebackers and a brand new defensive coordinator. The fact that this all has worked out so well is nothing short of spectacular. And look, Vic struck a chord with these guys. And the relative age of this defense went down like crazy this year.
Yeah, they're the 3rd youngest.
That's what I mean.
In the league. Yeah.
But for that guy to strike such a chord with this particular team, I don't know if people could have predicted. We were confident that having Vic Fangio was going to be a positive, but if you for certain were saying that this old curmudgeon is going to connect with these young guys the way he has, and I think the key is the coaches he has brought in at the positional level have made an enormous difference in this team. Defensive line. EJ Smith wrote a great piece in the Inquirer about the secondary coach and how he connected with Quinyon and Cooper and the work that they put in on side fields when they're not having reps. And Clint Hurt as the defensive line coach and the linebacker coach and these guys that Vic brought in at the positional level have made a huge difference in the performance of this team. So I get it. Vic has the scheme and he calls the plays and all that stuff. But I think what he did from a coaching standpoint to turn this defensive coaching staff around cannot be underrated, because it is a remarkable difference from last year into this year.
Yeah. So for me, it's Vic and only Vic. And I understand what you're saying about the coaching staff. And I think that there's an element to that that matters. But for, I don't know, like the Gannon years and then last year, it was like, it was Fangio light, right? Like it was like our defensive coordinator is the generic version of Vic Fangio, and we're gonna try and survive with that. But what the Eagles are learning is that don't go generic, get the real deal. And I think there are elements to that in everyday life too. Like I get the generic soap and I itch for 3 days instead of getting the legit one, or the generic version of the food and it sucks. And I get sick instead of the legit version of the food, right? So
Steakums versus Jim's cheesesteak.
Jim's cheesesteak, right? So I think, like, to me, Vic himself is the difference. They're far more prepared.
Yes,
I mean they look just from the jump ready to play whoever's out there. 2022. That defense feasted on crap quarterbacks. And even in the postseason, they got crap quarterbacks. This year, they've beaten Joe Burrow. They've beaten the dude from the Ravens, Lamar Jackson. Gosh, I totally blanked. Yeah. Russell Wilson's had a resurgence, but didn't do anything against.
I mean, again, the Saints were the #1 offense in the NFL when they played them.
Right. And that was still when they weren't good. That was when they weren't good. Before the bye, they were just a bad team.
Matt Stafford.
Yeah. They Stafford got his. Stafford got his. But Stafford's got 2 of the better receivers in football.
Yeah.
I'd still take the Eagles in Philly against Matt Stafford every day, and that team every day.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one team that concerns me coming to Philly in this sort of weather, and that's the Packers.
Yeah.
But to me, it's this defense is. It's Vic Fangio. I don't think, and I agree. The coaching from the position.
Oh yeah, I think it all cascades down for sure.
Yeah, but I think his ability to prepare this team and have an idea of how they want to attack teams. They just take away what teams want to do.
Yeah, and his emphasis on communication and.
Oh, you just see it never
playing together. When guys move, guys are talking and pointing, and
even the touchdown this week, you see Cooper DeJean point out.
Yeah,
you've got outside leverage to CJ. He just didn't react.
CJ has had a rough coverage year for what.
That should have been knocked down.
Yes,
if not picked, it should have been knocked down. Let's talk about from an offensive perspective here before we jump into. This Commanders week, there was a lot of question. That's not a secret.
A
lot of questions going into this game about the passing offense. To me, Jalen answered them. Teams were going to want to do what the Steelers did, which is single high safety, 8 in the box, dare you to throw it. Jalen's going to make teams question that. I think that the Commanders are going to come out trying to do the same thing because they'll have They'll have, their corner situation cleaned up this time around.
Yeah.
So they're going to try a little bit of that too. I'm not worried because it's very difficult to cover, especially if the Eagles go empty, which they did a lot. I texted you during the game. I was like, dude, it feels like they're doing a lot more empty.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the game, everybody's talking about how the Eagles went more empty. And they did. And it's because you can see things from empty a lot faster. It's very difficult for teams to cover the Eagles in empty because you can't account for Jalen Hurts. Like, you can't just say, oh, they're not running the ball. Like, that's not something you can do out of empty with the Eagles.
Yeah.
With a team like the Bengals, if they go empty, you're like, all right, well, we can commit a linebacker to a receiver and do a little bit of double here because Burrow's not tucking and running a draw.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles, you have to commit a linebacker to Jalen. So everybody's one-on-one. Everybody's one-on-one. And that's really difficult when you have A.J. Brown and you have Devontae Smith and the way that Calcaterra is playing, and then you've got Saquon in coverage. So I don't care if you have Marshawn Lattimore covering A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
First of all, A.J. Brown's winning one-on-ones no matter who it is. There's not a corner in football that's covering A.J. Brown one-on-one. There's just not. In man, it's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. You're not covering A.J. Brown one-on-one. So go for it, but you're not. You're not. You might be able to jump around here or there, but that's on the back. So I think we're going to see more empty this week because it gives Jalen an advantage. It really does. Just your initial thoughts on the passing game, and then I would like to celebrate something.
Yeah, I think it's very simple for me. I think this is one of the times that it felt like, okay, the offense is in rhythm. From a play calling perspective, from what Jalen knows he has to do, to who he's going to throw to what they were doing to get guys open. Yeah. Just seeing that first throw to Calcaterra, how many times have we seen Jalen Hurts throw a seam pass this year? Even to Dallas Goedert. It hasn't been that many, I'd bet. But just on the first play, proving that you're willing to do that makes a huge difference. And it felt like, at least for the first few drives, I know there was a little stall, like on the second quarter, things like that. But it just seemed like it seemed like 2022 when Steichen's calling plays and they're just in a rhythm all the time.
Right.
Guys are open. Jalen's making good decisions. Jalen, is not holding the ball a ton. He's not leaving the pocket when he's got a chance to just, hang there and make a throw. That's what I took away from it, is that if that is what this offense can do, I mean, good luck, everybody else.
Yeah. Let me just, I want to give some flowers here.
Yeah.
We laugh all the time about my love of certain players on this team. And I pulled back on my love from one guy this year. And maybe I shouldn't have. But Kenny Gainwell.
Kenny
in
G.
this game. What a game.
What a game, man.
I mean, you know why, Regz? He was so decisive.
Yeah,
And I want to give also flowers to Jalen. He put Kenny in a position to be decisive.
He was getting it to him quick enough to let him, yes.
Yeah. And again, some of that was design.
Right.
When you have a tight end running at a corner and a linebacker at the same time, they both sort of have to commit because they're not sure which way he's going to go. And you can dump that to Kenny, and then the corner has to come down. That linebacker's not getting back to Kenny. And the corner's got to make that am I going to stand at the sticks and make the tackle, or am I going for it? And a corner coming up on a running back isn't making that tackle. Just isn't.
I mean, that spin move's one of the better moves I've seen, just period, Like, just
And then
forget
later,
about
yeah.
just Kenny Gainwell. Just period.
And then later in the well, not even just a spin move on that play, but putting his shoulder down and running
Yeah.
through a defensive back. And then later in the game,
Splitting those two guys.
splitting two dudes.
That was a
Full-headed
decisive
steam.
just boom. Yep.
And someone said after the game, and I forget who it was, a lineman. I can't remember if it was defensive, but someone said, like, we have all the trust in the world in Kenny. Like, we feel like he'd be starting in most organizations. And look, I don't think it's a secret. I love Kenny Gainwell. And he's been phenomenal.
This was a fantastic game from him when Saquon had to be out, because I'm sure he was a little banged up. I'm sure they're making sure he's okay. That's part of it.
Yeah.
Kenny had a fantastic game. Fantastic.
Also part of it is he's their 2-minute back.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah, I'm not freaking out about that. I'm just saying, he had a phenomenal game. Phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask this. Like, what is your confidence level in the 1 seed? Let's set up the scenarios. Eagles have Washington on the road, pseudo home game. Dallas at home, Giants at home. Those are their final 3. Lions go to Chicago, go to San Francisco, home against Minnesota. Minnesota has, I'm drawing a blank. They have the Packers, I believe, next week. I forget who they have this week. And they have the Lions in week.
Hold on.
I wrote it down. I think I wrote it down last week.
Seahawks, Packers.
Okay. So
Seahawks,
it's at
Packers,
Seattle.
Lions. Yeah.
At Seattle, home against Green Bay.
Yes.
And then
At
on the road
Detroit.
against the
Yep.
Lions. Yeah. All right. So here's what both teams need to lose one. Minnesota needs to lose one before that Lions game. They need to lose one, and I'm sorry, Lions need, because if the Lions go in with 2 losses, Minnesota's not playing starters in week 18. They can't win the division. So they like, it needs to be the other way. The Lions need to lose either to Chicago or to the Niners.
Yeah.
Can that happen?
Probably not.
Or they need to both go in. Well, if they both go in with 2 losses, I think the Eagles are screwed either way.
Yeah.
I do think the Lions can lose this.
I just think I'm of the mindset I just need the Eagles to win out, and then let's just see what happens. Like, could the Vikings lose to the Packers? Yes. I don't think they lose to Seattle. I think Seattle's like kind of been trending down a little bit.
Playing that well, and Gino's hurt. So
I think there was a report though that he's okay. I think he's going to end up playing this week. Is something I saw.
Well, going to Seattle's not easy.
No, listen, sure.
That's not easy.
Sure. I don't know. I just need the Eagles to win. Like, just don't lose to some team that you shouldn't lose to.
No,
and then let's see what happens. Like, to your confidence of like, I don't know. At this point, I'm fine with the 2 seed. Yes, would I love the 1 seed? Of course. And to get guys healthy, blah, blah, all that stuff. Sure.
The 2 seed becomes tricky for a couple. The first being, they're going to have to give guys some time.
Yes.
If they know they're locked into that 2 seed, like, I feel like if the Lions and the Vikings both win this week, you treat week 17 and 18 like pseudo bye weeks.
Yeah, you can beat the Cowboys and the Giants without.
But you don't have to.
But yeah, sure, exactly. But also, you can beat them without playing. Like, you can give some guys some time.
Yeah, but you don't even have to.
Yeah,
like if you win this week, it doesn't matter. You can lose the next 2 weeks. You're still the 2 seed.
Who cares?
Like at that point, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
use that time wisely. Get guys off their feet.
Feet. Like, don't and you can't sit all of them.
Right.
So sit some of them in week 17.
Right.
Sit some of them in week 18,
Yep.
and give them like an actual bye week. Here's the reason why this bye week or this 2 seed concerns me. It's that first round game. Because they could end up with any combination of the Commanders for a third time, which is never a good thing. You never want to play teams a third. They could end up with the Bucks in that scenario, which I absolutely hate. They could end up with the Falcons with Michael Penix, which I absolutely hate. So I really want that bye. And look, the bye week sucks because there's bad to both. You could end up with the Packers in the division game. So there's bad to all of it. For me, it's like I prefer them all just get a true bye. And you try and win a game. You try and win 2 games at home to get to the NFC. To get to the Super Bowl.
I think. Look, I'm with you. I am. I'm with you. I think if they can get it, they should try. I think it makes a difference to have the home games, to force the Lions to have to come to Philly to play in a possible championship game. I think all of the scenarios point to you want to get it. I just hope they're smart. If they can't get it, I hope, like you said, they use 17 and 18 as true times to get guys off their feet, keep them healthy, all those things. Like, who cares at that point? You end up 13 and 4. Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah, I just want them to be smart about it. I want them to get guys off their feet, keep them healthy, get them rested, all those things to be ready to go in the playoffs.
Well, we'll see. I do believe people have laughed at me a lot when I've said this, but I do believe that the Lions can lose this week. I think their defense is so banged up.
Oh my God, unbelievable.
That the Bears should be able to score enough. And then you look at, they're going to be playing in like 20-degree weather on Sunday, which they haven't had to do a lot of.
Yeah.
So they could absolutely lose this week. And there's a chance that the Vikings could go across the country and lose this week. And if the Eagles win, all they have to do is beat the Cowboys and the Giants.
Yeah, right.
And the Giants aren't going to be trying to win.
Yeah, they don't want to.
No. So you might be able to win that game at halftime.
Yeah.
And give not just a bye week, but like basically 6 quarters of football off.
Yeah.
To your roster. So look, win this week, see what happens. If the Lions lose, you are in really good shape.
Yeah.
Because the Vikings could lose to the Seahawks, they could lose to the Packers, or the Lions could come out in week 18 and win because they want to win the division. The Vikings have it the most difficult. The Eagles need the Lions. They need the Bears to pull a miracle this week. I don't think the Niners are beating.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No. So, and if the Lions win these next 2 weeks, it doesn't matter what really happens at that point. So, all right. I do want to take a quick peek at our preseason predictions here. So let's also, important to note when we get into the preview, AJ Brown didn't practice. He was limited with a knee. So
yeah, I think it was knee/rest. I think he's all right.
Okay. All right, good. Okay. Here are my you want to do bold predictions? Thank you. You want to do bold predictions or this or
that? Bold predictions.
Okay, bold predictions. Jalen Carter, first team All-Pro. Still a good chance.
Yeah.
Chandler McKee's not the backup. Stupid. That was a bad job. Jahan Dotson, 650 yards. He's got 125.
Yeah.
Stupid. Saquon Barkley, 1,500 total. Nailed it.
Check that box.
What's that?
Check the box.
Check that box. We can check that one. Bryce Huff and Josh Sweat. I had them at over 19.5 sacks. Now, Bryce Huff will be back this week. He was not, things weren't great before he left. He had 2.5. Josh Sweat has 8. So they're at 10.5 with 3 games to go. Probably not getting to 19, but who knows if Huff would have been healthy. Maybe they would have gotten. Quinion and Coop don't have a pick. I had him over 5.5. Linebackers best since Edwards, yes.
Yes.
That is facts. 6-0 in the division. They are 3-0 right now. Very possible. Super Bowl, very possible. Start 10-1. God damn it. They are 10-2. They are 10-0 since the bye. Brown and Devontae with 2,300 total yards for the year. They currently combine 1,600. I don't think they're going to get to 23.
Yeah.
But both being injured for the length of time, they were both kind of hurt that one. All right, this or that. Who has more touchdowns, Goddard or Dotson? You had Goddard, I had Dotson. Looking good for you. Who has more starts? N'Kobe Dean, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. We both took Trotter.
Wrong.
Bad job by us.
Good for you, N'Kobe. Good job.
Jalen Hurts, 30 passing, 10 rushing touchdowns, or 15 rushing touchdowns. Jalen has 18 passing and
Is it 12?
14 rushing.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to get to 15.
Yeah.
Out of the question, I think that he gets to 30.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he's at 10, but he's not. I don't think he's going to get 12.
I don't think so.
So we both took that one. So we're both wrong. Saquon, 4 touchdowns against the Giants or 1 touchdown per game. So Saquon has 11 touchdowns through 12. I think he only had 1 against the Giants, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
So he would need 3 in weeks 18, and I don't think he's playing week 18.
I don't think so either.
We both took, we both took 1 per game. So we have a shot there.
Yeah, we got a shot.
AJ, 13 plus touchdowns, or Mitchell, 5+ picks. Well, we know where the picks are at.
Yeah.
AJ has 5 touchdowns. Probably not getting to 13. We both had 13. So we're closer there anyway. Top 10 versus the Blitz. Top 10 DVOA. They're top 10 in both.
Yes.
I had Blitz, you had DVOA. So they're top 10 both. More sacks. Jalen, BG, and Sweat. Milton, Davis, Huff. Well, Regz, I'm here to tell you that it's closer than the experts think.
Wow.
I lost it. Hold on. Here it is. All right, so you're going to do the math while I say it out loud.
Okay.
Sweaty has 8.
Yep.
Jalen 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
BG. There he is. 3.5.
Okay. 15.5.
Okay. Milton 5.
Yep.
Josh 2.5.
Okay.
Oh, you know what I did? This isn't. We don't have to change anything. Davis has 1. I thought that we had Nolan Smith. We did not have Nolan Smith. That is not closer than the experts think.
Yeah. 15,
if we had Nolan
15.5 to 9.5.
Yeah, if we had Nolan Smith, 5.
Yeah, that would have been closer. Yep.
Yeah, but we both had the Jalen, BG, and Sweat brigade anyway. Jalen top 5 MVP. Jalen Pro Bowl. I don't think he's top 5. I think he's top 10.
Yeah.
You had Pro Bowl. I had MVP. So you got me there. Kick return or a punt return. They have neither, right?
Yeah.
They don't have either.
Nope.
Yeah. We both had punt return. And who goes further? Eagles or the Phillies? We both had the Phillies.
Womp womp. Damn
with a bye, they'd actually be tied. If the Eagles don't have a bye and somehow lose, we would actually win that.
Damn it.
So take that for what it is.
There it is.
All right. This week, The spread. Eagles are 3.5-point road favorites. And the total is 45.5. Let's start here. If they win, we're talking about. If they lose, we're talking about. For me, if they win, we're kind of talking about like, all right, well, they just got to go on and do the next thing. Like, I don't know that there's a thing we're talking about they win. If they lose, I think what we're talking about is maybe that Jake Elliott struggled again. I don't know I don't know that they're going to struggle offensively. I certainly don't see them struggling defensively.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a Jake Elliott thing.
Yeah. I mean, mine goes both ways. I think if they win, we're talking about how this defense stops the run for Washington. I think if you can stop the run, that the passing game is not good enough to beat this defense. Truly, I don't think they are. But I think if they lose, they're talking about the defense had a letdown. They had a letdown week.
Okay.
And just McLaurin got open more than he did. They weren't stopping the run as well as they have. They didn't contain as much as they should have. I just think it's a letdown week if they lose.
Okay. All right. So the key then for me is I don't know where I'm at, to be honest with you. I think the key to me is assert your dominance. I don't know if you heard, but Brian Robinson was out in the media saying that they're the better team.
I did not see that.
Yeah, he was in the media this week. He did an video interview, and said that, they're the better team, and they were the better team for most of that game on that Thursday. And that, they shot themselves in the foot, and that's why they lost. Okay. So if I'm the Eagles, I'm using that as a little bit of bulletin board material.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go out and assert my dominance and show, no, that's not what this was. We're better. And I think that's the key is basically breaking this team. Because if they lose 2 of 3 down the stretch, they might not be a playoff team.
Yeah.
And that would really be tough after starting the way they started and getting a couple of really big breaks.
Yeah, I think for me, my key is stopping the run. I think if they stop the run game, this team becomes very one-dimensional, and they're good enough on defense to stop this passing game. This passing game just can't, I don't think, sustain itself against this defense. But they got to stop the run. They have to. I think if they do that, then they'll be in a great position to win.
Okay. So then I'll go to my score, and I'm gonna go a little bit further on this. I think, when I look at what happened back on Thursday night when they played one another, I know that the Commanders pretty much dominated that game for the early part. I shouldn't say dominate. They scored early off of a weird breakdown. But the Eagles sort of came back and took control of that game. The final was 26-18, but it wasn't really that close. They got a late garbage time touchdown, and that was pretty much that. I think with the 3.5 point being 3.5 point road favorites, I have the Eagles winning this one. I'll go 27-17 this week. I'm gonna have it under.
Okay. Yes, I'm going Eagles win. And I'm gonna call 24-14.
Okay. So you have under as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, it's gonna be one of those games where I don't think it's as close as
No, I think so also.
Like the Pittsburgh game wasn't as close
Yeah.
as what the score showed, 28-13, whatever it was. Now I will say this. I'm a great brother-in-law. I love my brother-in-law. He graduates this week. He is a 2-time Iraq veteran who started school, left to go served 2 tours in Iraq, and is now finishing his bachelor's in cybersecurity. Graduates on Sunday. Super proud of him. Very excited to be there for him. Was hoping this game got flexed. It did not. I'm not going to DVR it. I think if it was a different circumstance and it was do or die type of game, something like that,
Yeah.
I'd feel differently. I'll definitely have it up on my phone from a following perspective. I'm not going to be watching it per se, but I'll be following it on my phone. I'm going to DVR it so that I can watch it back later and just like watch what happens and so I can talk about it. But I'm not DVRing it to not see it. So I'll turn my messages off because people are going to be, I think, ahead of me for this part. But yeah, so that's what we'll do. Anywho, that's it from this side. I think my fix is I'm just really proud of my brother-in-law. He's worked really hard to get to this point, and I know he's, looking forward to moving from his career as a law enforcement to something a little more less stressful.
Yeah.
And something that maybe won't be as touch and go. I'm proud of him. We all know what it takes to graduate, especially I think, when you're working a full-time job.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially one as intense as a, sergeant in a police force. You're working nights, long days, stressful job. And he's graduating with like honors and all the above. So really proud of him and excited to be there to celebrate him on Sunday. Someone that really deserves all the celebrations. So happy for him and excited to do it.
Congrats, Crawford.
Congrats, Crawford. Sorry we beat you last week, but not sorry.
Sorry.
Still love you.
Yeah,
still
not
love
sorry.
you.
That's right.
Still love you. Still love you. All right, everyone. Well, we will be back. What is New Year's next Thursday? No,
Wednesday.
Christmas. Okay, so Christmas is when?
Wednesday. Next
All
Wednesday, and New Year's Day is next Wednesday.
Okay. Well, they can't both be next Wednesday.
Yeah, New Year's Day, the 1st?
Is the following Wednesday.
Yeah, after Christmas.
Okay, you said next Wednesday.
Oh, no, next Wednesday is Christmas. Sorry.
Got you. Okay. Well, I knew that. I was just being an ass. So so we'll be back next week at some point. I'm gonna be in Easton on Thursday. So there's a chance we're back recording Friday.
We'll
or
figure
Saturday.
it out.
And then we'll go from there. Hopefully we're talking about a 1 seed, recapping another win for the crazy that they're going for their 11th straight win. But here we are. In the meantime, click subscribe on the button below us. If you're watching on YouTube, do that wherever you get your podcasts, whether it be Apple, Spotify, Amazon, whatever. Head over to social media at the Phixated Pod on Twitter, at the Mic Drop 5, at Big Regz with a Z. Go to Facebook, the Phixated fan page. Go to TikTok and at the Phixated Pod, and then click the merchandise link in the show description below. We're very excited that you were here with us tonight. We're looking forward to you being here with us next week. In the meantime, take care of yourself. Take care of one another. Go Birds. We'll see you soon.
Go Birds.
Freaking Max Kepler.
Do something, Phillies. Please, God.
Deep to right field. Way up there and way out of here. The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.